welcome back to the channel. So, after we all got off live, I came across I think the channel is called Hip Hop News. Let me be sure of it. Um, so they were saying that it may not be a possibility for Tasha K to file bankruptcy if that's what she decided to do. And I found the conversation interesting because I'm wondering, is that something that she's thinking about doing? So right now I'm pulling up the video and we're gonna listen to it because the video is being done by the man Byron, whom has been covering this story since it's been happening. It's called Hip Hop Inquirer. So we about to get into the video.
Cheap on things that make you feel fancy and on travel when you...
Absolutely, absolutely. And because this is called...
Okay, let me rewind it back a little bit.
And when I had...
Okay.
From putting videos about Cardi B out there. And I want to point out there was never a First Amendment claim made in this case. And I do understand that she made a First Amendment claim on her brief video saying essentially her First Amendment was violated. Well, the lawyers in none of the closing made that type of claim. And with that said, I want to introduce you guys to Mark D. Links. Bring him in. Mark, can you hear me?
Okay, so from what Dennis Byron is saying, when Tasha K addressed her First Amendment rights in the video, she never even brought up her First Amendment rights in court. That was not a part of her case, from what he's saying. So I don't even know why she even started off the video like that. But okay.
Yeah, Dennis, how are you? Good to see you.
I haven't seen you in a while, but last time I seen you was in that courtroom where you were defending your client in the suit against rap star Brat.
That's right.
Cobb County, Georgia, and obviously I covered that case for TMZ. Now today we're discussing the obviously the verdict, and you have a little familiarity with the case, and if we can't go.
The man that he's talking to, I forgot to say his name. The man that he's got up here on his panel to speak about this situation, his name is Mark D. Link, Esquire.
Briefly into that, and then let's just talk about this verdict.
Absolutely, Dennis. Well, when I was first heard about this case, I had actually talked to Cardi B some years ago. When the case was first getting started, they were looking for local counsel. And when I had talked to her, she was obviously distraught and she was going through a lot. This really weighed heavily on her. Unfortunately, the moon and the stars didn't align. I was super busy at the time. I couldn't jump on board for her legal team, but I have to congratulate her team now and Cardi for going through this entire process. It's a great result. So it's been 2 years and she brought it home. I'm proud of her and her team.
Brought it home in a big way. And I just alluded to because this video Tasha K just released at 7 o'clock. And someone just sent me the link before I brought you in onto the stage. She is claiming now that her First Amendment right might have been violated. But there was never no mention of constitutional violation during the trial. And I doubt it, but you're the attorney. Can she raise that now during an appeal?
If she didn't bring it up during the case itself, it's not an appealable issue in a federal court. Everything has to be brought to the judge's attention at that point to bring it.
So, so far from what I'm understanding, her appeal may not even go through because of what she's calling herself appealing, when what she's calling herself appealing she never brought up in the additional case. She never brought it up in the beginning of this case period, which is quite interesting to me. If you are getting on videos to address the situation and you saying that your First Amendment right was violated, but you never brought your First Amendment right up, at that point, I'm gonna start to well, we already feel like it's gaslighting because she ain't taking no responsibility for nothing in her video. But I'm really gonna start to think that it's just some bullshit.
An appealable issue. Everybody has a First Amendment right, but you have to remember that we don't have a First Amendment right to defame other people and cause them damage, and that's what this case was about. So I don't really see a lot of that claim going that far as her saying First Amendment right. And what's ironic is what you said. She's using the media outlets to defame other people, and that's what the jury found. But at the same time, she's saying, well,
Hi,
this is the
Lisa.
cause of my woes now, so we can't have it both ways.
Absolutely, absolutely. And because this is Cardi B, the media is going to cover it. And if there was ever an issue about the way the media would cover it, the transcripts as well as the reporting by multiple outlets consistently reporting the same thing. I don't see how she can raise a claim on that either. One other thing, she had mentioned on her social that it's talked about the makeup of the jury. Now, obviously, you go to voir dire, and if she felt that the jury makeup was biased towards her, the defense had a option to raise what is called a Batson challenge. Can you talk about that?
Well, under Batson, we are all, when we go to trial, judged by juries of our peer. So you can't indiscriminately strike all people, Caucasians or all African Americans. You have to have an evenly balanced jury. So if your reason for striking all the African Americans,
You're right, Lisa. She not gonna give an apology because she's too damn hell bent on holding on to her pride. But honey, that pride just cost you 3.8 million. You better throw that pride in the trash.
Americans is because they're African American, you can raise that as an appealable issue. So I'm sure her defense team, Tasha K's defense team, they're well aware of this and they could have raised that challenge, but she got the jury that was picked by both parties, and that's how the jury system works.
Okay.
And then I didn't even notice that she had a problem with the jury in her video, which is gonna make me go back and play her video again after we watch this so I can see if she said some stuff that I missed. Because in Kiva's chat, people also mentioned that she said that she was ordered to take the videos down, but we haven't seen that nowhere where we've been reading about it or hearing about it from other bloggers or whatever that she was told to take them down already.
And let's look. You had an opportunity to review the documents that were sent to you.
Yes, I have.
Looking at the what the jury found liable, and based on the defamation, do you see a likelihood that they can
Being spiteful because you got to pay money ain't gonna no less make you have to pay that money. So she might as well get an apology.
go into bankruptcy court and try to seek some type of chapter so they won't have to pay for this judgment?
Well, that's interesting because in the DeBrat case, which was a verdict of 6.4 million, we've been chasing that down for many, many years. And DeBrat did take advantage of the bankruptcy process, and every person in the United States has the bankruptcy process available to them. There's nothing wrong with that. But what is interesting in this case, and also DeBrat's case, she's not going to be able to bankrupt out of any punitive damages, and that's the punishment damages, and that was $1 million against her personally. So that's not going away. The other judgment, it could be wrapped up in the bankruptcy court, and that could disappear for the compensatory damages. But the $1 million is not to be wiped out by the bankruptcy because it's there to punish her, and you can't just walk into a bankruptcy court and try to wipe out a punishment damage, just like a criminal can't walk into a bankruptcy court and try to wipe away their sentence for being sent to prison.
Interesting.
Okay, so from my understanding of what he just said, she can file bankruptcy, but bankruptcy is not going to allow her to file for the punitive damages, which is the damages awarded to Cardi for what she was, for her mental distress and things of that nature.
So now we have the punitive. Now it was also 500,000 punitive on the company. That can't be wiped out either, correct?
I don't believe it can, but at the same time, as a company, does the company have any assets? And it's going to be a shell game trying to find the assets of that company, and that's the difficult process that the plaintiff Cardi B will have right now is tracking down the assets to cover this judgment.
And then you have the attorney fees of $1.3 million.
Absolutely, they did a lot of work on this case, and it shows. It was a good team.
That too would lean towards the compensatory side, or can they try to get out of paying that as well?
Well, the only thing that will stick if she files for bankruptcy, if she has enough assets, Tasha K, then it'll be all wrapped up, and the assets that she has to pay for the judgment. But if she doesn't have assets of a couple $1 million lying around, the compensatory damages will not stick. That could be dissolved in a bankruptcy situation. So that's the tough part of this. Is getting the judgment is half the battle, and yes, exactly. Cardi B did what she did. There's a new sheriff in town, and that's Cardi B. It seems like, and she's going after these people. And I'm glad she got what she deserved.
And for me, I think it was more about the vindication for the things that was said about her, and to send a message to others who have been bullied or who have been bullied by this particular blogger and others across the social media platform. So do you think YouTube perhaps could have played a role in allowing her to, again, these videos just came down today. She literally took them down today.
Okay.
For whatever reason, I guess she had a come into Jesus moment and said she's going to take it down. The judge is going to still have an injunction hearing coming up next month, which she still should move forward with. They should still move forward with that because she can put the videos back up after that day is expired. Now, with that, I guess the question.
Wait, so after the injunction hearing, it's a possibility that she can put the videos back up, which to me sounds like her platform is not in danger of being taken. If she could put the videos back up after that court date, then her page is not in danger of coming down.
With that, I don't know what sentence she can get because all the verdicts are in. The punitive verdict is in, as well as the verdict on the case itself. So I think with Cardi, it's a powerful message in addressing cyberbullying. Your thoughts on this? What is your thoughts on cyberbullying?
Absolutely is. Well, the internet seems to be the wild, wild west of defamation because there has not, to my knowledge, been a verdict like this. Maybe some other celebrities have pursued it, settled out of court, but this has really sent a message across the entire internet. And it's always puzzled me how people like Cardi B, entertainers like that, can work and do all the hard work and get to where they have been in their career. And these bottom feeders, as you would call them, they ride their coattails and they make money off of defaming them after the celebrities have done all the hard work. It's just not fair. So I'm glad Cardi B has gone this route and seen it through the end, because this will send a message. I'll tell you what, Tasha K's attorneys were not cheap either. So if somebody's staring down a legal bill to defend this case, that may give them cause whether or not to put up videos like this against celebrities.
And we're not going to, you actually didn't watch the trial.
I'm not going to even lie. This should be a lesson to bloggers as well as celebrities. Because bloggers can't blog on what ain't put out. I mean, Tasha K did make up a lot of stuff. And I mean, she made up a lot of shit. But some of these bloggers ain't out here making up shit. They just catching these motherfuckers slipping. So again, these celebrities also got to be careful on what they are willing to do in the public and be seen doing or saying.
But there was a lot of reporting about how the defense handled the case, and some have suggested this case shouldn't have even came to court. They should have probably tried to resolve this because the judge, and then during a pretrial hearing, pretty much told the lawyers that you probably don't want to bring this case to court, just basically looking at the elements.
And I think you said the verdict came within 2 hours, so that just shows you how clear it was and how really disgusted the jury was with the tactics of the defendant in defaming Cardi B. And it was a clear case. The judge probably saw that from the very beginning. This is not going to go well for you. You might think about trying to get this done now. And if Cardi B wanted an apology and just the videos removed, that would have saved a lot of heartache for Tasha K. And now we see the position she's in now.
In a video, which I briefly looked at, I'm going to go look at it and try to just do a breakdown of what she said. She said that she wants to take this over to the Supreme Court. What is the likelihood?
She sure did say she want to go to the Supreme Court with it.
I know one of the justices is retiring. Is that Breyer?
I heard that earlier. I was on a plane earlier and I just saw it on some feed. I'm not exactly sure of the actual details of it.
Right. So, what's the likelihood of the Supreme Court even entertaining a case like this?
Very, very unlikely. This is really just a civil matter. There's no unique issues of law that are involved in this. First of all,
I said that in my last video I just did about this situation, that the Supreme Court will not take that. To them, that would be a frivolous case for them to have to pay attention to. So the Supreme Court may not even take it. So sounds like he's confirming my first thought.
Has to go through the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, and then if she loses there and it doesn't get returned back to the trial court, she will have to apply to get consideration from the Supreme Court of the United States. There's no automatic right to get to the Supreme Court of the United States. They take very few and very select cases. So I really doubt that she could get to the Supreme Court of the United States. She will get to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals if she desires. But that's even more money out of her pocket. So,
and talking about the appeal process, well, the case already, a legal fees cost her, it cost Cardi 1.3. I don't know what her attorneys charge her. What do you gauge?
It's already a mess. It ain't gonna do shit but escalate to a bigger mess. Because I could see Tasha K still causing problems for herself.
Right.
You get a qualified appeal attorney to take it the distance. What do you think it probably costs?
Well, certainly there's not a trial that's going on for a week. You're briefing the arguments, you're writing the briefs. I know I had a case of mine go to the United States Supreme Court, and the lawyer that handled the case, it was such an important issue, he was doing it on my behalf. He did not charge me, but he said he would charge $100,000 for that case for appeal. So I would think realistically in Tasha K's case, if she was to go to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals, minimum of $50,000 to get up there and brief this.
I said $100,000 just based on covering a case like that. I said that, and that's probably going to be paid up front, especially in a case like this.
If she does file for bankruptcy, she has to lay all her finances out and show the bankruptcy court, like, this is how much money I have, this is where it's all at. And because I don't know how much of that has been discovered in this case yet. So that would really give us insight into this is the money that Cardi B can get from her.
I want to, and that's funny that you say that. During the punitive phase of the case, Each lawyer had 20 minutes to argue the punitive phase. Cardi's attorneys used the 20 minutes. However, when the defense came up, they used 1 minute and one.
You think he is? Because from what I'm hearing, I think he's going to be next for trying to sue her. And she already got other celebrities gearing up to sue her. Allegedly, I'm not going to say it's true because I don't know if that's true, but that's what I've heard that's floating around in these YouTube streets. That he may be next trying to sue her.
1 second to argue their case for against punitive damages. I thought that was pretty hard. If you're trying to fight for your client not to be bankrupt or at least out of pocket that kind of money, wouldn't you put up a bigger fight than 1 minute?
Absolutely. I don't understand the rationale behind that. I haven't heard the argument itself, but if you're facing 1 minute versus 20 minutes,
she got mad because he was reporting on this story, right?
The argument, the person.
Ain't that how they beef started? Because he started to report on this story.
It's like a presidential debate. Somebody debates for 1 minute doesn't have a chance against somebody debating for 20 minutes.
And the other things that, in trying to convince the jury, I think one of the reasons why it didn't go the distance as far as 20 minutes is you have to ask for some type of compassion from the jury, you have to show your financials. You have to show something to prove that you might not be able to afford this. Because I guess the goal is not to bankrupt a person, but they didn't present no financial records to support them not being able to pay for a sizable judgment.
Well, that's a good point because I've had many punitive damage trials, and I remember one in particular that we were suing a drunk driver, and we got to the punitive phase. And punitive just means in addition to paying for their medical bills, pain and suffering, you have punishment damages because what they did was really bad, and that's what Tasha K, it was alleged she did. She famed Cardi B, and the jury found that it was really bad. But in this other case, the defense lawyer got up there and said, my client has nothing. He has $100 in his checking account. They showed his checking account. Whatever your verdict is, he's not going to pay it. So it's going to be on paper. And the verdict wasn't that high. So I'm wondering what Tasha K was hiding as far as her finances.
And that was the $1 million question.
Well, I think I did hear about that.
Yeah. What are you hiding? Because it's obvious that in a case like this.
So Tasha K was going to try to shoot him for coming to get an interview. Oh my God. She just makes shit so much worse for herself when it don't have to be. Why you just couldn't come out and tell the man, I don't want to give no interviews. I'm not speaking at this time. Ain't that the politically correct term to say no comment or something? This bitch told him she'll put a hot one in his ass. I'm not about to play with Tasha. She is real big mad about this shit.
Could they have presented that their finances during pre-trial to maybe kind of as a strategy to maybe not move forward? And I think if they were to do that, they would have to maybe try to sell it with Cardi. I don't know. Do you think that's a strategy to present your finances?
It certainly is. In a case where you're asking for punitive damages, you have to open up your checkbook and your finances because that becomes fair game. How much you're worth. If you're suing a corporation, you're asking for punitive damages because they put a bad drug on the market. You look at how much money they made off of that. What are the corporate books worth? This person that was driving drunk and injured or killed your client, how much is this person worth? Because that all comes into play. Like, how much is it going to cost to punish? How much will it take to punish this person? It's going to take a lot more to punish a $1 billion corporation versus some individual that has $10,000 in their bank. And that's why that's all relevant is how much is this person, how much is this defendant worth? So that's fair game during the discovery process, and I don't know what they found during that process.
Absolutely.
He doing a good job covering it too.
Hindsight is 2020, but if you had to take,
he kept everybody up to date.
You had an opportunity, but I guess your schedule didn't align with the with everything you had to do. Would you during the judgment and would you seek the injunction to have the channel taken down or just the video?
But why he don't like Tasha? Is it because she threatened to shoot him over the interview?
Well, it's interesting. I think everything is fair game, given what
hey,
she's done
Mac.
already.
Welcome back.
That she not post anything about Cardi B, good or bad. I don't know what the likelihood of that is, because Cardi B is a celebrity. She's a public figure, and people do have a right of free speech. But like I said, you don't have a right to defame people. That's not inherent in your right of free speech, and that's why we have laws and lawsuits about that. So I'm surprised she hasn't taken it down until today. Actually, that's bewildering.
Yeah, pride. Pride.
Thank you, K-Mac.
I guess she's seeing. She knows she has to come back in front of this judge, and this may soften the type of injunction that the judge will grant. But definitely, the judge should grant not putting the videos back up. And I think that's important, because we don't want this to be a case of a shell game, a 3-card Monty. Where's the card at? And then when the hearings are over with, she puts the videos back up. We don't want that as well. The other question I have for you is, how do you remember a case where a YouTuber has been taken down like this?
I can't recall it specifically. If it has happened, it doesn't come to mind. If this is the first case, Cardi B.
Okay, so for everybody coming in, I'm about to do a quick recap. We are listening to Dennis Byron speak to Mark Link about if Tasha K had the possibility of filing for bankruptcy. Now, they said that in some stuff, she may have that possibility. But as far as punitive damages, she's not going to be able to get out of that at all.
Is really pushing the boundary, and I'm glad she's doing that because it needs to be done in other cases. Like I said, these celebrities, entertainers, what have you, they work hard for where they've gotten to their stage in life, and it's just not right that people can ride their coattails and defame them and make money at the same time off their hard work.
And she said, you didn't, again, you weren't in the courtroom, but testimony came out where she said that her sole purpose for allowing the video, she knew that there were lies that was being said about Cardi, but she kept it up so she could make a profit. The jury heard this. They heard this. And there was another instance where she said that the only way, and she was trying to communicate to Cardi through video, the only way I will take these videos down if you pay me. Jury heard that as well. How powerful do you think that was?
I can't even say I'm disappointed in her because it's her character. I mean, it's in her. It's how she's been the whole time she's been on YouTube. So what she doing don't even surprise me.
Really have nailed her to the wall. That's just unfathomable that somebody would say that on the stand and think they're going to win the case or have some shot at appeal.
Yeah. Well, I really thank you for taking the time and coming in. I want you to tell people how they can find you. You're not cheap. Just give me a quick background. Just give me a background about your practice and everything, and the length of time.
Thank you.
Before you go through that, I want to give my condolences to your business partner. To understand you lost him recently.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause this video for a second.
That was my business partner.
And now we're gonna go back over Tasha K video to see if we missed some things in her video that she was saying, because I noticed that in this video they stated that she never mentioned her First Amendment rights being violated in court. At no point did her or her lawyers mention that, but she used that as an excuse in her YouTube video. So we about to go back over this video. As soon as we get past the ad, we're going to be good to go. Okay, and action.
All right. These last 4 years fighting this conspiracy case have been extremely challenging, and yet I wouldn't change a single thing about any of it. I've learned so much. Every moment was incredibly powerful and insightful. The verdict handed down on Monday was no shock to myself, my husband, or my legal team. We are prepared, and we were prepared for this challenge from the beginning. Prepared for the worst, as we said. We called bluff against a machine that wanted to bully me for not wavering from my personal beliefs.
A machine that has corporate interests to protect prostitution, drug use, promiscuity, and to glorify the violence that wreaks havoc on our society and in our neighborhoods. And to glorify it's sold to our children as the it factor. This machine, this thing, secured an extremely prejudicial verdict against myself and my company solely off of sympathy and payola, asking me to redact the real reason as to why I was reporting on the issues at hand, and succeeded in making me out to be an angry and malicious woman. This is a real business. I am a wife of 17 years, a mother to a beautiful 15-year-old girl who's an honors student, and a 2-year-old son. My platform creates news and sheds light on the issues going on in our society. My First Amendment right poses a threat to the machine's sole intention to mislead the public with caricatures built on violence, selling sex, and images of a denounced stereotype. Look at Chicago and LA and various other cities that can't even sit in their own living room and braid their kids' hair without worrying about bullets flying through and killing their children. My First Amendment right was painted to the public and courts as a bully, vile, and malicious towards a machine that glorifies a lifestyle meant to serve as modern-day genocide on our people. A machine that clearly influences our children on how to kill, sell their bodies, and more. You can't bully someone or something that takes pride.
I forgot to
in painting
unmute
our
the
children
mic.
and teaching our
My
children
bad.
to be degenerates.
What I
And
was
if you
gonna
are
say
a public
was,
figure
you
that
see how
pushes
she
this
bringing
image
up her
and this
First Amendment
lifestyle
right.
for likes and views
But
and a
Dennis
way
Byron
to
said
make
she
money in
never
our
mentioned
society, then
her First
I
Amendment rights
and
in
we
court during this case
have the
at all.
duty to exercise our First Amendment right as traditional media and new age digital media analysts to say, no, this ain't it. This is not defamation or invasion of privacy when these machines have pushed this lifestyle on us for profit. This ain't about $4 million. This machine never wanted my money. They wanted to shut down my company in order to protect their assets that glorify this reckless and dangerous lifestyle pushed on us and our children. It was about someone demanding that I respect and give respect to something that has never earned my respect. This is about changing the trajectory of how things have been done in Hollywood for over a century. There are no more gatekeepers, no more red tape, no more waiting to be picked and told what you have to do. If we simply believe in ourselves and our God-given right to live our lives purposeful and don't allow our gifts to die with us, we all hold the key to change. New age digital media, such as myself, and traditional media, we exercise our First Amendment right to publish our opinions and facts concerning these caricatures of stereotypes pushed in our homes and into our society, and we are just supposed to accept it because there's money on the table? No, absolutely not. This case was meant to drain me financially, and it did not. And send a message to anyone who thinks they have the right to challenge a machine that protects their corporate interests. We knew this case. We knew why this case didn't go our way. Our First Amendment right was intentionally hindered from the moment the case was filed. My company and I have built a platform that has been stamped over and over by traditional media and, most importantly, my viewers, you all. I have broken hundreds of stories on this platform from the moment I started recording videos in my guest bedroom back in 2015 while working at Seasons 52 as a server. I know y'all maybe think this is over, but no, this is just the beginning. I will spend as many years as I can to protect our right to voice our opinions and facts on these images that are sold and pushed on us. The appeal process has already started, and we intend to expose every conspiracy against me, my company, and my family. I was supposed to be destroyed a long time ago, but it did not happen. I am still here. We are still here. This machine tried to squeeze us for everything, but God said otherwise and blessed us with much, much more. We have built this platform video by video from my guest bedroom back in 2015, coupled with the best and most creative eyes and hands in production, my husband, my backbone. And he is the only man that encouraged me to fight this case from the beginning. My case will set a precedent for all future media, and we intend to fight until the truth is out. There was no defamation, no invasion of privacy, and suicidal thoughts, and we proved that with sufficient factual evidence. In court, my lawyers taught me about preserving the record so that it's noted for the future. Well, this is me right now preserving the record. We will fight no matter the cost or length, even if this takes years. I spent 11 years building this platform to serve as a leader in media. Media is a power, fighting machines with endless money protecting their investments. My husband has spent over 20 years working in production. We have over 1 million viewers and hundreds of millions of viewers, and most who have been with us since the very beginning. I love y'all so much for that.
Welcome to Making Dough with Rakuten. Today, I'm going to teach you how to get cash back on all the things you want and need to buy. Step 1.
Y'all built me, and y'all are the only ones who can take away, the viewers. I show my gratitude and appreciation by fighting for this priceless gift you have
She
gifted
done
my family and
monetized
me,
the
and the right to
exclusive
exercise
response.
our
I
freedom of
can't
speech
deal.
as human
I
beings.
can't deal.
Kibi Studios is a household name. Unwind with Tasha K is just one of the subsidiaries, and we intend to break out many more. Although the court hasn't instructed us to take the videos down, I've always said that I will comply with any court or jury. The videos have been taken down to show good faith to the courts because I respect the courts. We respect the courts. This machine has tried to have me arrested, threatened my life, and created a fake narrative about me. And I want you to ask yourself this: Why does the federal government subpoena my work on this channel if it's fake news? Why do state police departments request my videos for their cases? Why do media sites all over the world quote my work, our work?
I'm not gonna lie, K Mac. I forgot about that. I
want
forgot you
better
told me that.
for us,
And I live that.
and I live that better. Everything I represent: marriage, 2-parent household, and working for every dime I make without harming the next person to get there. I create videos including humor and truth to take us out of depression and get our minds off of sickness and financial burdens. And no machine will ever stop me. I get your emails daily encouraging me to keep going, and I love y'all so much for that, for accepting me as me. This trial was purely sympathy and payola to protect corporate interests, and we intend to take this all the way to the Supreme Court if need be. This is my life, and I will spend my life fighting for my livelihood and our First Amendment right as human beings. Dozens of major media outlets, the New York Times, Associated Press, Billboard, etc., have requested comments. And I've asked my lawyers to inform you all on our appeal process every step of the way. And I want to thank the winos. And before I go, I saw that there were a few fundraisers that were started under my name. We did not create those, nor do we need those, and nor will we ever create a fundraiser for anything. And with that being said, I want you guys to report them if you see them. We have reported a few, but obviously dozens are popping up to scam under our company. Signing off, winos, we will be back. We will be back serving exclusive wine this Friday. And with that being said, now I gotta go. Bye.
This lawsuit hurt her so bad, she getting tongue tied like I do. Now, if that wasn't just a mess, and I still did not hear her say that they ordered her to take the videos down. But we gonna go back over here to Dennis Byron and let them finish telling us some more.
Smith, and we lost him last week, and he was a gentleman lawyer, great intellectual lawyer, great friend, and I thank you for that, Dennis. I practice in Georgia, Florida, and Alabama, mostly Georgia, Florida these days. I can be reached on my email, which is mark@marklink.law.
Yes, girl, she is talking about taking it to the Supreme Court.
But all I do is personal injury, defamation cases, things like this, and protect people's rights. So that's time, Dennis. It's been a pleasure.
It's been a pleasure, and I'll call you if I need you.
All right. You have a great night.
Bye-bye. Mark, real quick. Does anyone have any
She
questions
might have.
before he leaves? One question. I'm taking one question from Mark. Can Cardi sue the social media outlets?
That's a great question, and unfortunately she can't. There's a section in the law called Section 230, and the last president had talked about this. He wanted to be able to sue social media, and Section 230, I believe, I don't think it's applicable anymore. When they enacted it, it gave social media outlets all kinds of immunity. So if somebody goes on a business website through Yelp and completely flames them and destroys their business, you can't sue Yelp, YouTube, Facebook.
From what I heard, she had hired a PR.
Posted it. So that allowed.
So I'm wondering, where was the PR doing all of this goddamn bad press?
To avoid
during the time she was doing all them bad videos, where was the PR?
Totally different world today. Google, Yahoo are the biggest and richest companies in the world. There should be liability and accountability for them broadcasting lies like this. And a very good point, Dennis.
You know Chelsea can't help her ass up out of this. Chelsea can't help herself.
They could sue the local paper. And maybe that paper gets 10,000 views, but if they go to Yahoo or YouTube and it gets 1 million views, you can't sue YouTube. It's just not right, and that needs to be changed. So that's a very good question.
And I would think just for the corporate imaging, in a case like this, Cardi has over 121 million followers on Instagram, and I don't know the numbers off the top of my head on Twitter, but she released a powerful statement yesterday that talked about YouTube, talked about how suicide could be a factor when people are cyberbullying. Do you think it would be prudent for YouTube to look at this as a corporate image perspective versus trying to protect the dollar? Because YouTube obviously benefited from every video Tasha K has.
Okay, so I'm not gonna even goddamn lie about this part of what they saying. It kind of irritated me because a lot of people either contemplate committing suicide over being bullied, or they actually have committed suicide over being bullied. And something should have been done about that a long time ago. Why is it now just a problem because it was publicized by Cardi B? Like, why wasn't it a problem before with the people who couldn't publicize it?
Monetized. And do you think that they will lean towards corporate imaging or the big bucks?
Unfortunately, I think they're going to keep leaning towards the big bucks until we have some kind of congressional intervention here. We've seen what's happening with Facebook and the hearings.
Chelsea ass was somewhere ahead and telling her, I don't want no parts of this.
Action from Congress on that, and they're just not going to change their behavior until the law changes, I believe, because there's too much money involved.
Too much money. And with that said, I know I know what you charge by the house. I'm gonna let you get out of here, brother. I'm gonna let you get out of here. I appreciate you. My audience appreciates you. And let's see what happens. I don't know if we'll see another case like this.
Wait, she doxed him to the point to where she showed a Judge Judy clip. Yeah, all right.
Mark, I appreciate you very much.
Thank you, Dennis. Have a good night.
Bye.
Child, I can't believe she dug that deep to find something that insignificant.
Good understanding of this process. So what I took away from that conversation was the punitive damages. She's going to have to pay for that. And that, at minimum, that's $1 million. So with that said, it's $1 million. She can recover from that. She has, her platform is strong enough to recover for $1 million punitive damages. Now, what he said also, what I took away from that was, if you seek bankruptcy, you're going to have to open your books. You're going to have to open your books. You're going to present tax returns.
Oh, wow.
You're going to have to present bank accounts, and you're going to have to swear under everything that you present under oath. So, for example, if money has been moved, and they tell you on these forms, if you've moved money in a certain period of time from filing,
why are they always posting something they got to delete, though?
They want to know about it.
Like, why do it in the first place if you ain't going to do shit but delete it later?
I won't say tactics, but it's an avenue where some people will try to do in order for them to hide their money. And
hey, I don't want a username. How you doing tonight?
They have a successful YouTube channels, and they're not as successful as Tasha K's. They have already amassed a sizable amount of.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hit Google up to find that episode.
Again, they have the Google AdSense they're going to attack. It's just so much that you have to really open your books for. So I don't know if that's going to be the smart thing to do.
I'm doing good.
they're coming for the money as soon as this injunction part is over with, and they have the right to. They have an actual signed order from the judge. Anyway, guys, you have any other questions? And what did you think about the conversation? Any other questions?
Okay, where my charger cord? Oh, my laptop died.
Oh, okay. Listen, guys, I had to set it up a little differently. Uh, hit the I guess you hit the I don't know if the super chat is there because I'm using StreamYard. But the Cash App is at $ at Hip Hop Inquiry. If you enjoy this type of commentary with experts supported, obviously I bring some qualified people on and I have access to a lot of cool people. But please support the channel. I just got an interesting email, by the way, and I'm a little disappointed in the YouTuber. Um, and I'm not gonna put him on blast just yet, but
Just yet.
I have lawyers.
Okay, let
When
me
we do
clue
things
you
like
in
that,
on
I have to
what's
spend
going on
to
here.
correct the.
Okay, so we were listening to Mr. Dennis Byron's video. He had Mark Link on, and they were discussing if Tasha K would have the possibility of filing bankruptcy. Now, from what Mark Link said, in some parts of it, she may be able to file bankruptcy, but in some, like the punitive damages, she can't get out of that. She got to pay that regardless to if she filed bankruptcy or not. She gonna have to pay the punitive damages because she's not going to be able to write that off. And then they also discussed would her YouTube page come down, and most likely her YouTube page won't come down. And they also said that after a certain time period, after the next court date, she'll be able to put that video back up. So, child, it's a mess.
The mistake on your part. So now I'm going to be looking at you very carefully now. And I think what's really in poor taste, because one of the things you don't know is if you don't own the right to the photo and just create a compilation, you can't claim copyright. You can't do that. Well, I thought you would have known that. But anyway, we'll deal with that later. But yeah, someone
That's why I think that's why the white guy, I mean, I think that's why the man Mark said that it's like certain parts of it she'll be able to get out of, but certain parts she won't if she's able to even do it at all.
Guys, let's see.
She definitely can't get out of punitive damages.
Statements, and if it's something that I can talk about, I will. Did you guys see the I guess the statement that she released? Because I really didn't see it, but I just got some notes that were sent to me. Do I think Tosh can win an appeal? I don't think so. She just released a statement. Think about this for a second. She just released a statement, and she accused corporate media machine for why she lost, and her First Amendment right was violated. But her attorneys never raised that up in the trial. There was never discussion of this. This is a First Amendment issue, and she had the right to say what she said. Now, guess what? The stuff that she said about Cardi, you never had the right to say those things, and the jury ruled in Cardi's favor. So when you say things like that, you have to be able to support it. And if you release a statement and you're challenging the First Amendment, you want to take this to the Supreme Court. I guess you don't know how hard it is to get to the Supreme Court. There's only a small percent of cases that will go to the Supreme Court, and your case is not going to the Supreme Court. And like you said, it'll make it to the 11th district, but you probably gonna have to pay $50,000 to $100,000.
Didn't I say that in the last video, K-Max? She may not even be able to take that shit to the Supreme Court because they might not even accept it.
You got to spend the money, but it's still not a guarantee. So I smell cap. I sense cap. And I think that it sounds good. And I give, she has a right to to get in front of this because
She
obviously
has a right to
what
an
came out the
appeal
trial
in the
was
courts
damning.
that it was held
You
in.
know, then
But I
couple
don't
that
think she
with
could take
all
it
these
no further
statements,
than that.
that was
I do
damning
not
too.
feel like the
And then
Supreme
you
Court
look
is
at the
going
way
to
the
accept
attorneys
her
handled
case.
this case was embarrassing. At minimum, you can probably, Tasha K, you could probably,
That's what I was
and this
asking
is
when I was
another
in
question
Kiva's
of the
chat.
attorney, because they typically don't like the
Because
verdict of the
olive
attorney,
leaf
but
extract, she used to advertise them
malpractice,
all the time. And then they just disappeared.
because what we see
And then
in
I
the
ain't
in the
heard from
court,
Pangea Wash
because
or
there was
about Pangea Wash either.
and I was getting a
So
little
they might have
disappointed that
jumped ship
this
and went
case
their
even
separate ways
went this far. Only to have
until
it
the
to the
fallout
court
is over.
today, something, an act that she could have did months ago, because that that uh that verdict form is a very big, expensive piece of toilet paper. $3.8 million is very expensive. So the 11th district, based on everything, the transcripts, I don't see. I really don't see you winning on appeal. You may win one round. Maybe the judge you can get a reduction in the.
Matter of fact,
you can get a reduction because you never presented any financial.
I think the only way Tasha K would able to be, the only way she would be able to do an appeal actually is if she filed
I'm hearing talk of
what they call that
celebrity wants to file suit. Let me read this here. Shout out to
ineffective counsel. If she can claim that her lawyers didn't represent her in a full capacity, she may be able to appeal.
Let's see. What was to be said at closing? Johnny Cochran can't say somebody that lied the entire time. 1 minute and 1 second was too long. Shout out to Terry King. I agree. But no, I don't agree. You know why? You had one job to do as the attorney.
Girl, don't get me started on no Biden, okay?
To argue for your client. And maybe they didn't want to argue because you didn't want to present your financial records. And I think that might be it. You did not want to present your financial records because if had you did that, then you create the basis to argue that you could not afford.
Well, she would have been able to argue that her amendment rights were violated if she brought it up in the initial case.
That's why
she never brought up the fact that she felt like her amendment rights was violated. So I don't think that's gonna be effective in an appeal.
When you raised the trial, you talked about the media. The media wasn't on trial. You were on trial. Your company was on trial. So blaming the media was not on trial. There were two defendants in this case, Natasha Kiwi and Kiwi Studios.
Exactly. So imagine still paying for a lawyer
so let's not
for an appeal,
deflect,
and I lose the appeal.
Like you took the videos down.
So now I'm in debt even more.
Ownership of what happened. It was a train wreck. Just say, listen. I thought. Then you said prior to this that you swore on your children. Never swear on your children for anything. Never use your children as a way of validating your words. You use your children, and I don't want to go into the spiritual and the religious reasons why you don't do that, but you use your children and said you was going to win this. You didn't win this. And you got to be careful with that. You got to be careful with the energy you put out there. Also,
well, Dennis Byron, he was there every day, I think, in court, and he said that she never mentioned it during the case at all. But I'm gonna try to get the transcripts so we can read them.
Make those issues raised, and your lawyer will raise those issues during the appeal. The objections, you got to go line by line by line by line and look at the objections and challenge them based on the law. Those are the things that you're going to have the ability to argue against. Not something pulling out the sky. Everyone wants to run to the First Amendment. And I guarantee you, most people don't know their own Bill of Rights, which is the first 10 amendments of the Constitution. But your First Amendment, I have the right to say anything I want to say. No, but you don't have the right to defame someone as an individual. So I would just say, learn the Bill of Rights, learn how it affects you as an individual, and the first 10 amendments of the Bill of Rights deal with individuals. Understand it, and the attorneys never raise.
But I will say this about the First Amendment, right? People choose to acknowledge that right only when it's beneficial, because we can say that the KKK violate black people all the damn time, and none of them have been shut down for bullying the black community in their First Amendment rights to call us niggers with the hard ER. So sometimes that First Amendment right shit be some bullshit because they choose to look past some people but then punish others.
Any constitutional issues, which I thought that they should have, like the Fifth Amendment of the Bill of Rights, that wasn't raised, or the Sixth Amendment, that wasn't raised. I didn't see any constitutional issues raised because when that jury heard the vulgarity of your videos, they knew that you exercised your right because you were saying anything. And it was, I don't think that any sensible person that sat in that trial thought that your constitutional rights was being violated. And you had the right to change your attorneys as well if you thought they were doing a poor job. And I would say that they missed an opportunity when they did their closing on the penalty phase. And those justices in the district in the 11th district are going to.
Now that's a good question too.
The 1.1 minister saying, "Well, okay, your attorneys did fight for you."
And she better hope they don't press charges on her for perjury.
Because you picked your attorney. Anyway, guys, that's all I have. Anybody have any more questions? Yeah, Lloyd may have played that. I'm gonna read. Someone left me a comment, and they said, "Well, we all can't afford to pay. Just donate to the super chat." I'm gonna read a few of them, and I get it. I'm gonna read a few questions, but I have things to do as well. Let's see. Long Lana, it's only 12 minutes. Okay, yeah. I heard it was laced with drama too. It looked pretty dramatic. Okay, I'm shocked for once she didn't scream, "I'm a black woman." We're not going to talk about the I'm a black woman because you saw who she used. She has the right to use anybody she wanted for legal representation. Yes, yes.
That's a good point too. That's a good point too. She coming on here talking about she being discriminated against pretty much because she's a black woman exercising her First Amendment right. Child, what was your lawyer though? What was your lawyers though? What were your lawyers? Why you didn't give a black woman a chance to represent you in court? Or a black man, for that matter. Why weren't there an option to represent you in court? You went and got Olga, whatever her name is, Ola, what shit. And look what happened. But now you want to run to the internet, and it's a problem because you're a black woman, you're a dark-skinned woman. They trying to silence the black woman. No, ma'am. Child, she got me. All right.
You look at if I took you around my place, it's not too far off. But my baby brand is not set up yet. But it's not too far off. This is so convenient.
She had to.
Did you hit the like button? Did you hit the like button? Did you do that?
She had the powerhouses.
Well, I someone said, how can she object to something?
Meanwhile, her lawyers was acting like they was fresh out of law school. They ain't know what was going on.
Tool that is used when you don't agree with the other attorney saying for the other side. You got to make an objection. The judge either overrule it, meaning to continue to ask the question, or just sustain it, meaning you got to rephrase your question. So this is a legal tool that is used during back and forth when you witnesses understand. I'm not playing her statement on this platform. Not happening. That's not happening. But I will record.
Now that's true too. Because like I said in one of my other videos, she has attacked Nika Knight. She has attacked Lovely T. She has attacked. Damn, I always forget her name. Candace from Daytime Tea Time. I think she got into some situations with Lioness Judah or Judah Lioness, however you say her name. She got into it with a few black women on YouTube.
Cardi's thing was pretty powerful. Okay, they come to my tablet. Let's go to the phones. Let's go. There we go. It's Cardi's statement. It was sent to me literally.
She did. She bragged about her every chance she got. Oh, I got good lawyers on that. I got good lawyers on standby. They just wait. We just waiting for a problem. Girl, they wasn't waiting. They wasn't that prepared, honey. They wasn't prepared at all.
I appreciate Judge Ray for...
Because Cardi B lawyers pretty much dog walked them a few times around the block.
Their careful deliberation over the past 2 weeks. I am profoundly grateful for the hard work and support.
Y'all, thank you, K-Mac.
Most importantly, thank you to my family and close friends who helped
all of these people she done got into it with.
Experience. During the trial, all of you have learned about the darkest time in my life.
Plus the people I named earlier, which Lioness of Judah is one of them. I couldn't get her name right though. And I forgot she got into it with Malibu Dollface. Wasn't that because of Lovely T, or was that because of Candace? But I think it was more of it was because of Lovely T.
Allows me to have, which is why for over 3 years I dedicated every resource I had to seek justice, and not just justice for me. The truth is that the intentional harm that was done to me is done to countless others every day. The only difference between me and the high schooler who is being cyberbullied and lied on by their classmates is the money and resources.
Hey, Hershey Kiss. Welcome from out the bushes.
Have to say enough is enough. The unchecked behavior and provocatively false content on platforms like YouTube have to be addressed and removed. The constant harassment and lies that are reported as factual from journalists and bloggers.
You think so, Hershey?
We can no longer be a society that turns a blind eye to blatant lies. My career began on social media, so I know the power it has. Over the past few years, we have been seeing...
Yes, Rosetta, women and men. She done got into it with everybody.
Bring important and necessary conversations to the...
Jason Lee, she's still getting into it with him.
And women's rights. However, we have also seen countless stories of children and adults deciding to take their own lives.
Welcome. I'm glad you stopped by to watch.
So, while I am very grateful that this trial has come to its conclusion and the jury has rendered a powerful and substantial message, literally, I really hope that my experience forces all of us, but especially the platforms who allow the behavior to be a part of their communities, to rethink what moves us forward as a society versus what cripples us. If you're thinking about suicide or worried about a friend or loved one, or would like emotional support, please call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline for help at 1-800-273-TALK. This is that was something else that was said attached to the statement. I'm not going to read that. But those are powerful words. Those are powerful.
Tasha K got into it with Sean Davy White. I did not know that.
And she also said that many don't have the resources that she has. And she spent her money, as you can see, through this verdict that she addressed all this, and I commend her for the statement. Uh, I'm not reading Tasha K's statement because it's out there already. She didn't, to send it out like, your publisher should have sent it out to all the media.
I don't think her hand's still in Storm's pot, especially after their last interaction when she told him that she done with him for good or whatever. I don't know though. That could have been an act too. So who knows?
There's a 30-day. She has 30 days to appeal. It usually stays some parts of the case, not all parts. An injunction will likely happen as soon as the judge decides, and that it won't stay that. Um, let's see here.
Ooh-wee. Ooh-wee. I'm gonna have to go over there and watch Sean's videos again, because I think I missed that one. And I know he had to drug her for filth after that.
I'm not going to repeat something that I hadn't seen, but I mean, she big bags, and she got the full base. She just pay, just call for bread up, If you listen to the video's going to be here, but if you listen to my
but she said he not under contract.
YouTube.
And I think he said he not under contract unless they lie.
They're making money,
which we all know she love lying.
They're making probably a higher percentage off for everybody. So where's the incentive, for them to take anything?
I'm gonna have to go look at her community wall. She better not have it deleted.
Injunction from a judge and served, then they're not taking it down. And I think Tasha knows that, and I personally understand because running a business, you have to not ignore notices that come your way, and you can't just throw the mail away. You got to read it. And you have to weigh.
No, she didn't say she was gonna do a blogger a week.
The risk with the game, and a lot of times people don't weigh the risk with the game.
Child, she docs Toxic Diamond.
$3.8 million is a lot. For anybody. Well, not anybody. Jay-Z probably can help it. Hold on a second, guys. I'm trying to read another one.
Oh, I can't believe this.
I don't understand that question. Which is,
wait,
she's gonna build anything that is available, but we have to see. Let's see. The medical expenses, not $250, $250,000 was reduced to $25,000, and that was done on consent by both sides. That's the only thing they consented to. Everything else, punitive, they're not consenting. The punitive is what it is. That's what it is. And again, with the attorney Link said that even if you file bankruptcy, you got to present your financials. Let's see here.
Let's see.
You can also leave your questions in the comment section, and I may or may not have the time to answer them, but leave them in the comment section. There's a lot of comments coming in.
No, that's not it.
Let's see what's
Do anybody remember what the title of the video was?
I don't.
Oh, she didn't dox her. She just spoke on her.
Guys, hit the like button. Hit the like button. I got 855 people here. Hit the like button. I don't know where Tiffany's at. Tiffany, where you at, girl? Tiffany, where are you at?
I'm gonna have to find out. I'm gonna try to find that out. Okay. How is he still under contract with her? Because I could have sworn both of them said that he was not under contract with her no more.
Okay, let's see here. All right, guys. some of the questions that you're asking, I can't answer those questions for a number of reasons. But
I'm definitely gonna have to look for that.
you know, we had the attorney here, and I obviously I asked him a question, but I seen things that stood out.
See, where did I leave my
Okay.
comment?
All right.
Think it was
So
here.
guys, and gals,
No,
do you like the different setup? Because it's different than the previous. It's gonna get better. I promise you, it's gonna get better. I'm just giving the tools of motion. I'm actually gonna be using the camera. You know, a nice one here. I got it.
but now she being bullied by the machine. She say, "Ain't that some bullshit?"
Really disappointed. You can't ask me to come on your channel and do craft stuff like that. Don't ask me to come on your channel and do craft stuff like that because you obviously don't realize we address everything.
Who is he talking about? He went on his channel. He went on their channel and they did some crab shit. Because the last channel I seen him on was Nick at Night. Let me pull up her channel.
Guys, did you like the questions I asked the attorney? You good with those?
Because that was the last person whose channel he was on that I saw.
Appreciate you guys. You know, I one thing I noticed being on this YouTube space is very competitive. You know,
yeah, Dennis Byron talks Tasha K and Cardi B 3.8 million battle. Okay, so we about to listen to Nick's video for a second. So I can figure out if she the one he's talking about.
Site builder, in-house design experts,
like what is some crab shit? I don't know what he's talking about.
Make the web work for you. Okay. What's up, y'all? Okay, so as you guys know, yesterday I brought you guys the news that they had first set out to say that there was $1.25 million that Tasha K owed in general damages, and then they hit her with $250,000 in medical expenses. And I told you guys they would be calculating.
I thought I heard her say that, K-Man.
Following that. So here we are, day 2, where they deducted some charges and added a whole lot of more whopping charges. And we're going to talk about this whole entire situation with a special guest by the name of Dennis Byron. So if you guys did not see my coverage of this yesterday, like I said, it said Cardi B claimed a blogger made up harmful lies about her on the internet. And she basically wanted to sue for defamation of character, and she was awarded this large sum of money. Now, fast forward to today, the final total that Tasha K has to pay up is $3.8 million. Now, there was a lot of different charges and different things that were tallied, and the court just really had no mercy for her at all in this situation. And so we're going to bring up Dennis Byron, as he was definitely on the ground during this whole trial. He was one of the people who had, helped Cardi B in this situation as well. So we're going to talk about all of that tonight, get his perspective on what he saw as he was sitting in the courtroom day in, day out. So we are going to give Dennis Byron a huge warm welcome. You guys definitely follow him on Hip Hop Inquirer. That's where he has been going live. And then he also has his Instagram, Mr. Dennis Byron. Correct?
Yes. Do you want me to step on the stage?
Yeah, it's time to come on stage now. Well, time to come on stage.
Thank you, Nick. Appreciate you inviting me.
I think they might have did look at her income.
I've been watching over the years, and I love the work you're doing. And yeah, let's just get right into it. Yesterday and today was a pretty huge day for Cardi B, as well as a huge day for Tasha K. One favorable, one unfavorable, and then you can see as from the reporting that, by the way, the story you put out on TMZ, that was my story as well. So, I cover for 2 platforms, Hip Hop Inquirer and TMZ. So let's
not the right advice.
Yesterday, the jury uh, listened to the judge's charges, and they took a lunch and they went into deliberation. The deliberations, I initially reported it was under 3 hours, but when I did the calculation, it was literally almost 2 hours it took them for them to come back with a verdict, a libel on all counts against Tasha K. And I've been covering trials for over 30 years. I've never seen the verdict come back that quick, especially with the length of time that was, that took the prosecutor's case. So, with that said, the verdict came back libel on all counts, and then we had the penalty phase, which happened today. They argued, the defense and plaintiff argued today why Cardi B should be awarded a certain amount of money. Yesterday, there was the compensatory damages that was 1,250,000. 250,000 was the medical. Today they came back and negotiate the medical from 250,000. It was reduced to 225,000, so which gave it 25,000 for medical. So that coupled with the 1 million compensatory damage, and now we're at the punitive, where Tasha K has to pay $1 million in punitive. Kiwi Studios have to pay 500,000 in damages. Then you have the attorney fees, which is $1.3 million, which brings it to an estimated total of $3.8 million. Astonishing, and I don't know if Natasha has that kind of money or Kiwi Studios, but they have already said they want to appeal the decision. Now, remember this is a federal case, and seasoned judge, you don't get on the federal bench unless you're seasoned, and the likelihood of this case being overturned is slim to none. There weren't a lot. First of all, you have to make a lot of objections that has to be overruled or sustained. Well, they probably made about maybe 10 objections throughout the whole case, the defense, in which case the judge overruled most of them. I think it was two sustained. And if you know what objection sustained meaning sustained means obviously the lawyer, the other side has to rephrase the question. And the objections, if the judge, overrules the objections, then that means keep on with your line of question. So anyway, it's significant for the blog space, and you as a YouTuber, this may or may not impact the way you conduct business.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, I'm listening.
So no, I'm just giving an overview why this is pretty significant.
Right. So, me as a YouTuber, I think the difference as far as YouTubers with integrity versus YouTubers who just make up defamatory stuff, I feel like this case, along with other cases, and I have like a glitter on my eye. This case, along with other cases, is going to set, I believe, a precedent for people who just, tell blatant lies without anything being fact based. But I don't really think that it will affect the people who follow the community guidelines. Because here we have community guidelines that you are running your page, with ethical behavior. You're not trying to cyberbully anybody. And so if you follow those guidelines already, I don't really see it, affecting us too much. But people who just sit up and lie and just make up stuff, I feel like it definitely would, affect those channels.
Well, think about this. I don't know how if those 1 million subscribers are actually really 1 million subscribers, but if you have a third of them there are subscribers and a portion of our YouTubers, chances are they are adopting her style of storytelling. And when I say storytelling, she has taken it to the pinnacle of storytelling. She has openly admitted on the witness stand and through her deposition that she has lied to her subscribers, that she has done it for profit, and that she has intentionally harmed Cardi B with these defamatory statements, these vile statements, these vulgar statements, and it was just reckless. And the jury saw that. And it's important for people to understand that if your goal is the bag without integrity, the bag is you're gonna lose the bag.
Right.
You're a YouTuber, and if you look at what you make, you kind of gauge it. Just think about what you've done in the period you've been on YouTube, and then multiply that times what she's done in her period, and you can probably get an estimate of what they're actually doing, or they're making, because they're going to do a forensic analysis of her finances and the TV studios, and they're going to at some point have to come up with the money,
Right.
unless they file bankruptcy. And I don't know if they're going to even be covered with bankruptcy, because one, this happened in the federal court, and the same court is going to have to decide. The bankruptcy court is going to have to decide, which will be another federal judge, whether or not the bankruptcy should be discharged or a portion of. But they may take a different chapter. We don't know. We don't know what the strategy is, but there's still a victory for Cardi. Cardi doesn't need the money. It just sends a message that what she's done is unacceptable, and hopefully she cleans up her act. I don't know. I haven't seen anything to that effect. It's the first statement she released. Didn't show me that there was remorse in there. I think it was more of damage control or deflecting from what really happened.
Right. So yeah.
Remorse. She felt none of that at all. Ain't no such thing as remorse with Tasha K. Okay? She didn't give a damn. She still don't give a damn, really. She just pretended for us that she give a damn enough to try to do the right thing, but shit. Pretty much her apology wasn't even an apology. She just said, I did it, so what, and I'm going to appeal. Pretty much.
Yeah, so basically, I've been watching a lot of streams. I did a lot of research myself, and how I interpreted the law that I read, there's no way that she can discharge this debt. This debt is it was malicious. Like when she was found guilty on all counts, it said that this was done in malicious intent. The basis to be able to discharge such a debt, it has to be done without malice. So you can like get charged with like I guess defamation or whatever, but you can also kind of like escape the like certain parts of it. You know what I'm saying? And so she was found on all counts, and in the courts it said that that was called a tort, and malicious torts are not dischargeable based on what I've seen. And then the lawyers who spoke about it and said that you can try to get around it, they said that basically the only way you can try to get around it is if the debtor, like which would be Cardi, who is going after this debt, if they don't want to, if they don't contest it. And I find it highly unlikely that Cardi B went through all of these years to then let her just appeal it and not contest it. I find that highly unlikely.
I would just say she's going to contest it, but it's another element of that bankruptcy statute that it would have to be during the trial. The plaintiff would have to allege some type of fraud, and if there's an element of fraud in there, which is based on everything in totality, I feel that there's some fraud in there. If you normally tell your subscribers the things that you say are factual, you represent yourself as a journalist, but on the witness stand, you openly in your deposition, you say you're not a journalist. There's so much contradiction; it's unbelievable. The husband saying the wife is lying, the wife is saying the husband's lying, and I think people just when you hear all that testimony, enough is enough. We heard enough. We listened to these awful videos, and enough is enough. Because she was really proved to be a bully, a cyber bully. And while people will say, "Well, you can't bully people," yeah, you can bully people on the internet. And I would refer to Cardi B's statement that she put out today, and she speaks about that. She speaks about. Did you see the statement?
Yeah, I seen the statement. It was on the Shade Room. And matter of fact, we can pull up the statement now. In the statement, they did a good write up. The team did a good write up, is what I'll say about that.
Cardi did a good write up, and the team.
Yeah, and the team, they did a good write up. But let me go to the statement right now and read you guys the statement. Let's see.
I have it on. Maybe to send it to you.
It's right here on so she says, after almost 4 years of repeated libel and slander against me, being able to walk away from this victorious brings me great happiness. I appreciate Judge Ray for conducting a fair and impartial trial. I am grateful for the jury and their careful deliberation over the past 2 weeks. I am profoundly grateful for the hard work and support from my legal team. Importantly, thank you to my family and close friends who held my hand and helped me get the support that I needed during this experience. During this trial, all of you have learned about the darkest time in my life. That moment in time was fueled by the vile, disgusting, and completely false narratives that were repeatedly and relentlessly being shared online. I thought I would never be heard or vindicated, and I felt completely helpless and vulnerable. I have never taken for granted the platform that my fame allows me to have, which is why for over 3 years I dedicated every resource I had to seek justice. And not just justice for me. The truth is that the intentional harm that was done to me is done to countless others every day. The only
Okay,
difference
K Max,
between
see
me
you
and the high
later.
schooler who is being cyberbullied and lied on by their classmates is the money and resources I have access to. We collectively have to say enough is enough. We can no longer be a society that turns a blind eye to blatant lies. The unchecked behavior and provably false content on platforms like YouTube has to be addressed and removed. The constant harassment and lies that are reported as factual from journalists and bloggers have to end. My career began on social media, so I know the power it has. Over the past few years, we've seen how social media platforms were able to bring important and necessary conversations to the forefront, such as Black Lives Matter, Stop Asian Hate, and women's rights. However, cyberbullying and intentional attacks so while I am very grateful that this trial has come to its conclusion and the jury has rendered a powerful and sustainable message, literally, I really hope that my experience forces all of us, but especially the platforms who allow this behavior to be a part of their communities to rethink what moves us forward as a society versus what cripples us. If you're thinking about suicide and are worried about a friend or loved one, they leave the hotline. So that's pretty much the statement that she left.
Very powerful statement. I mean, she signaled YouTube. She addressed cyberbullying. She put, YouTubers and unscrupulous journalists on notice, and I think it was powerful.
Right. And a lot of people, when I was seeing this, they were making this like, oh, they're only going after a black woman because she's a black woman and da 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 da, which is actually not true. And it shows how much we're so focused on us as a black culture. It really grinds my gears when people make those blanket statements because they're not in white media. Shade Room is not if it's not Kim
Good
Kardashian
question.
or somebody attached to like a black athlete, if the person is not black, they're not getting posted on the media that we consume. So there's other medias out there who are covering similar things that's going on this YouTube space as well. So thanks to my subscriber Thomas B who put me onto this because I wasn't even aware. But there is a guy who had a following of 2.4 million subscribers. Okay, he was a conspiracy theorist and he was a very very big YouTuber. Okay, and on his platform, he got up there. His name is Alex Jones. So on his platform, Infowars, there you go. So on his platform, he got up there and he said, listen, he was covering the whole situation with the Sandy Hook situation. And he got on his platform and said that the people were not real. He said that this was not a real situation that happened. He said that they were actors in this whole Sandy Hook thing. And there was a lot of people who believed him. It spread like wildfire. And the families who were directly affected by it, they sued him. Absolutely. And so, as a result of them suing him, they were like, listen, we're real people and we're really grieving, and you're out here telling people on your YouTube platform that we don't exist and we're actors, and it's a total lie. And so, they sued him, and they recently, basically, because he was found,
he didn't answer.
He was found basically liable for, the lies or whatever. YouTube then seen that the judge ruled that he was guilty by default after he refused to hand over evidence like his financial records ordered by the court, and his show online. Basically, once he was found guilty by default, YouTube stepped in and snatched his platform of 2.4 million subscribers based on him coming forward.
Good night,
and saying that
Rosetta.
the Sandy Hook people were not true, and he was, liable for this defamation. So, to my black people out there, please stop speaking information that you don't know and acting like this is just a black woman thing and they're just going after her because they're a black woman. Broaden your scope, because even I wasn't even aware of this. You know what I'm saying? Stop saying stuff that isn't true. People are going after people because they're sick of people getting online and just blatantly making up lies that is spread to the masses. So,
do we have?
Now, what Nick said is true. That's why when I report on people, I tend to either let you listen to them actually saying or doing the things themselves, or I either show you, like in a video, I do an upload video and I don't add nothing to it, but maybe a little commentary in between. I might add some words why they on camera or whatever. But other than that, I like to show the people doing what they're doing that I'm reporting on. That way, can't nobody say I lied about nothing, because you are on camera saying this or doing this. So you cannot say I lied about nothing. I don't have time to be sitting around making up stuff on people. That's just ridiculous.
To rehash what actually was said. Do we have to rehash what was actually said during the testimony? And if so, you can paint a serious picture as to what the jury was watching. One of the things that was said was Cardi was
back to the Cardi B case, yeah.
Right. She was a prostitute that she used cocaine, and that she did debasing acts, as well as she committed adultery. So all these things that she said were actual crimes. So that raised the bar for the jury to look at when you say these things, and none of them things were true. None of them could be proven. And then just think about this. She actually had to provide her health records because someone else that she never knew made a false claim about her. And how embarrassing is that? Even though the test results were negative, but the fact that you would make up a lie and make someone expose your medical records, that is obviously your privacy records. Mm-hmm. And you had to do that. So there were so many things that the jury had to put themselves in her shoes, in Cardi's shoes, and think about how would they feel if someone did that to them. And the jury spoke volumes. The quicker the verdict came in, the more powerful the message was.
All right. So I'm going to step back a little bit, and we're going to go to the beginning when all of this stuff was going on. So this situation happened. Tasha K goes on her platform. She does this interview. Cardi B tries to plead with her, and she's like, listen, that's not true. Can you please consider me? I'm a parent, I'm a mom, blah, 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 blah. Can you please take it down? They, from my understanding, sent her a total of 3 cease and desist. Absolutely. Not 1, not 2, but 3 cease and desist. So at some point, did you reach out to Cardi or Cardi reach out to you? How did you get involved with putting something together to serve her or something like that?
Well, are we talking about the testimony or what came out in the court or anything prior to that? I would just say I help facilitate the service of the lawsuit because obviously Tasha K was avoiding service as well as Star Marie Jones. But through my team, we facilitated that where the lawsuit was served. So she wouldn't have been in court if Cardi didn't reach out to me.
Okay. So you were able to.
So that might be the actual reason why Tasha K really do hate Byron, Mr. Dennis Byron, because he helped her get served with the fucking lawsuit. Child.
To facilitate a team that made sure she was served
Maybe that's why she
properly
said she was
for this
gonna shoot
lawsuit
at his
because she
ass.
kept saying that the
Oh my
lawsuit
god.
wasn't real, right? Or
I
that
don't
she
know.
wasn't served.
That happened before I was hired because I also own a crisis media company. So at the time, I was doing a cyberbullying story for my company, Hip Hop Inquirer, and I guess she got wind that I was doing the story because it was something else she had Tasha had did that raised the eyebrow. I think she was covering the R. Kelly trial, and I know one or two people that she was targeting, and as a result, I know the person for years.
And the funny thing is about the R. Kelly trial, that's the like one of the only, and I mean one of, because it's like a couple of stories that she actually did have accurate information on. But the only reason she had information about this damn R. Kelly case is because of the damn correction officer. Other than that, she would have been making up stuff on him too.
And I don't want to put the person's name out there because I was told today that they filed a suit against Tasha K as well.
Okay, so somebody else is filing a suit.
Absolutely.
Against
See,
her.
This libel, her being held liable for all these counts, is opened a floodgate of people who potentially can sue her. So
right.
this should have never went. This should have never went to federal court because if the lawyers would work their weight, they would have obviously said, no, this case is not winnable. And the judge said it as well during pretrial. Why did they allow this to go instead of just taking the videos down, issue a retraction, and kept it moving? So this was a $3.8 million narcissist decision that resulted in probably a financial loss for a long time.
So did you see her remarks after and where she said that everyone in her seat pretty much goes through this?
Well, that's I'm gonna say something that more younger people say that was all cap. Everyone doesn't go through this. There has been no case in years where a YouTuber has got sued for making such egregious statements on to another person. So when she says that, that's a lie. Just think about it. You can scour through the whole federal court system and go through Nexus. There's no cases like this. This is
so she said that everyone in her seat goes through this. So I'm thinking she's putting herself in the same position, I guess, as like a Wendy Williams or people of that nature.
No.
Well, the only position she is in is the inquirer position, because now people gonna be looking at you like you're a tabloid.
Radio in New York, she got fired from WPLS, and she had to go take a timeout, and then she went to I believe a Philadelphia station, but no one sued her. No one sued her. So when she says stuff like that, that's just to obviously throw, I guess, the subscribers off. But at the end of the day, she openly admitted that she lied, that she consistently lied. She did her husband lying on her, she lying on her husband. It was just a debacle in that courtroom.
All right, walk us through that. So first, her husband did, from my understanding.
I can't believe that her and her husband was in there placing blame on each other. Like, who the fuck does that? Y'all supposed to work as a motherfucking team. Like, y'all get in there and point the damn finger at each other. No, he's standing behind like, no, she did it. She did that shit. She was in front of the camera. She was running her mouth. I told her to shut up. She ain't shut the fuck up. What the fuck can I do? And he's sitting there, and she's standing on the other side of him like, no, this motherfucker, he the owner of the company. It's his like, is that the show they was giving these motherfuckers in court? Like, I can't get over that part.
A deposition. And after he did the deposition, then there's this trial. While you guys are in the courtroom observing him, he goes on the stand and he gives testimony. So, can you tell us what he said as far as his testimony as it pertains to being in charge of whether or not she takes the video down or not, and whether or not he has access to emails? And then, can you let us know what Tasha K said as it pertains to her access to emails and if her husband was telling the truth or not?
Okay, so during direct examination, I want to say that it was either Sarah, I think it was Sarah. They were cross examined them, and I had to check it, because it's been a long trial. But essentially, the question was asked that first of all, are you the president of the company, or are you the owner of the company? First, Tasha K was on stand, and they asked her, was she the president or the owner? She said she's half owner of the company. Her husband's the president.
Mm-hmm.
Very important. She says on the stand, before he gets on the stand, that no, my husband is the president. Now, he's listening to the testimony. He wasn't outside the courtroom. He heard her say that he was the president. He gets on the stand and says that he was not the president. He's the owner. And they asked, and he said, well, this is the president owner of the same thing, which is not. And then then they asked him, have you ever been called, have you ever used the title president while you ran TV studios? He said no. So she perjured herself on the stand again. He said, there was another instance where they asked him, if you're the owner, don't you have the power to take videos down? He said he doesn't take any videos down. His wife does. Then there was another instance where there was the letter cease and desist sent out to the company email address.
This heifer said he is the president and the owner, and he's sitting right motherfucking there listening, and then he turned around like, no, I ain't the goddamn president. I'm the motherfucking owner. Okay? I'm the CEO. Why they didn't practice on getting their story right before they got to court? Like, who the fuck does this? Like, oh my God.
And they responded to one of them. When I say they, we don't know which one responded. She said that she doesn't respond to emails that her husband did it. Husband gets on the stand and says he didn't respond to the email, she did it. So it was just crazy. It was just crazy, weird testimony that you would think that if you're actually in the courtroom witnessing your wife saying this, why don't you support her?
When you were in the courtroom and you saw Cardi B give the testimony that she wanted to unalive herself and do a self-control alt and delete of herself.
Like what? Suicide?
Yeah, I'm trying not to say certain words, Dennis. Okay. When she said she was, having these thoughts of doing these things to herself, what was Tasha K's expression, or could you see her expression when Cardi B was giving this testimony? And did she appear to show any remorse?
I had a good vantage point in the courtroom. I made sure I sat where I could see both the husband and the wife. So I watched very carefully how she responded to some of the things Cardi said, and it was kind of just, she had a stoic look on her face where the husband had his head down. And I thought that the fact that she didn't react and she was looking straight ahead, and she wasn't even looking at Cardi. So I looked at the jury to the right of me, and they were looking for a reaction, which they looked at, listening to Cardi's testimony. And as a result of the testimony, I am so sorry. I'm in an interview right now, so there's someone's phone. I have to do another one, so we got to kind of cut this because they're waiting for me yet. But for the most part, I believe that the way her demeanor was also impacted the way the jury viewed her as someone that was remorseful. The husband, I felt like he's just there. He's just going along with the program, and he's just there. And that's probably why TV studios only got a $500,000. While that it's not a light dollar amount, but they didn't hit him as hard as they hit her. They gave her twice as much as they gave him in damages.
Mm-hmm.
But this is a great platform. I don't want to rush you, but I have to be on another platform in a second.
Okay.
So her husband didn't get in as much trouble because he showed remorse,
when they,
from what I'm understanding.
Gave the judgment,
but then she got in trouble because she didn't show any remorse. She didn't have any
what I was told that
any sadness to give her.
Not the money amount, but that the fact she lost the case. There was someone who went in the bathroom. She was crying in the bathroom.
Oh, okay. Who is that?
I can't say. I can't say who was the person who told me this. Someone in the bathroom.
Okay, so somebody that you were in communication with told you that they went into the bathroom and she was crying in the bathroom after she lost her case.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but wasn't that the other YouTuber who said that she was crying in the bathroom? Wasn't that the YouTuber Sylvia, who was also at trial? Because I heard that she ran crying out the courtroom with her face covered with a scarf and type shit. So I think it was the Sylvia lady who may have told him that he caught her crying in the bathroom. But let's let them finish talking because the video about to be over anyway.
Fortunately, I guess sources are going to bathroom too.
All right. Well, I don't want to hold you. I'll just finish out the stream and talk to the people. Thank you so much for coming on.
And we're gonna do this again. We do this dance again another time.
Okay, so that's the end of that video. So, you guys, what do you think of what we just heard? Let's recap. In the beginning of the video, Byron was giving us information about the trial, about the possibility if Tasha K can file bankruptcy or not. So, the man Mike that he was speaking to said that it could be a possibility that in some areas of the lawsuit she may be able to contest bankruptcy, but they will be going over her financial statements and things to make sure she's not lying about not being able to afford it. But she cannot get out of the punitive damages to Cardi B, period, which is the $1 million for pain and suffering that she caused. She can't get out of that at all. Okay. Now, they also acknowledge that after this next court date come up, Tasha K may be able to put the videos that were taken down back up, which sounds like to me she won't be losing her YouTube channel. Maybe. If YouTube decide to kick her off, apart from this situation, that may be a possibility. But the courts are not ordering, so far from my understanding, for her whole entire page to come down. So then we went over to Nick's page and what we just heard. What do you think about Byron being the whole reason why Tasha was able to get served in the first place? So I want you guys to let me know your thoughts in the comments. But I'm going to cut this video short right here. I appreciate everybody who came to watch. I appreciate everybody in the bushes. I appreciate everybody in the comment section. I appreciate the subscribe, the like, the everything of you guys. And I will see you all on the next video.